Hello everyone. We have our news for the upcoming week, so we'll go over that and see what we're getting. So, maintenance, normal time as usual, should be no surprise to anybody. And Sephiroth is coming, so we have the usual login. We'll get 30 crystals for him, we'll get 25 for the NVA, which is going to be the Barret Final Fantasy VII Remake. We get the usual exchange shop for the banner. We're getting the usual cash summon, which I really hate. And something new that's coming up this week, though, is they're doing this friend point fragment summon. It seems interesting. We'll have to see how they actually implement it. I would have rather them do like double the cost and let us pick the fragments, but we'll have to see. It looks like we can do it once a day. We get 10 fragments. They don't say whether it's going to be 10 different fragments or 10 fragments for a single unit. We won't know until we actually get it in game, but it does say random. And I mean, there's a bunch of units that I could use fragments for. There's a couple that I don't need fragments for. It would definitely be a lot better if we could pick, even if they doubled the cost just for us to be able to pick. So, week 3 of Final Fantasy VII, they're bringing back that $6.99 bundle. Lets us pick one of the old 5-star Final Fantasy VII units. If you really want one, you can go for it. It's cheap enough. I've usually been skipping those. And we are getting our 3rd week of Aerith enhancement quests, so as long as you've been keeping up with everything, this means that we'll finally be able to EX2 Aerith for free. Very much worth doing. She'll get all her EX abilities, like the Rod in Peril, which is going to be very nice for her. And then we get our quest to check out Sephiroth's CG Limit Burst, which is nice. And the usual low rewards. Kind of wish they would up those a little bit for these unit quests. So then we get Sephiroth's card, so he's also a premium unit, so we can expect him to have the same treatment as Aerith and Tifa. Pretty much low banner rates. We don't get the card until EX3. The card is a level 1 maxed out. His card's pretty much a copy of Tifa's, except for Reaper Killer instead of Beast Killer. And then we're just getting this other card in a bundle again. So, with Sephiroth, we get a new Chronicle battle against Rufus Shinra. So, Final Fantasy VII units give us a bonus, usual to be expected from all the Chronicle battles. Nothing new there. One of the big things, though, is the Buster Sword, Final Fantasy VII Remake. This is Envy Cloud's regular trust. Now, the trust as is was just always trash, never paid much attention to it, but we're finally going to be able to upgrade it to something that's actually really good for Cloud and Zack, seeing they're the only ones that get the bonus from it. But I mean, it's a two-handed weapon at max out, 190 base attack, which is decent. But the big thing is 1000 raw attack and 50% LB damage on it. Makes it pretty much best in slot for double-handing Cloud builds. We're also going to be able to upgrade the guard stick, Final Fantasy VII Remake. This is pretty much for Aerith. It's a rod. It has decent spirit on it and high percentage for magic and spirit. Now with Aerith getting EX2 and the Rod in Peril, means her base form actually wants to use rods even though she's spirit based. So this is an option if you don't have something better, like you use Super Trust, because Rod in Peril and Reflecting Holy is very nice. Also, with the upgrade, ending with maintenance is Dark Visions. If you haven't done your last score runs for Dark Visions, get those in. But another thing is Item World. So you can actually run these items through Item World to get the bonuses on them before we upgrade. It doesn't matter if they're enhanced already when we're doing these types of upgrades. And seeing we don't know how long it's going to be till Item World shows up again, it's worth getting in early now. We know that these items are going to be upgradable. Alright, so the banner is going to have, obviously, Sephiroth featured, and then Barret and Biggs and Wedge for raid ups. None of these units are limited, so if you don't get them, you don't have to worry about never being able to get them. Now, we're going to see the exact same thing as we saw with Aerith and Tifa with the discounted step up. We have to get 20 tickets for one, and then after that, it's going to be 28 tickets to get multiple copies if you're going just for the pity. Based on what I've seen with the Tifa banner, expect low on-banner rates. I mean, they say 5% on the last step, but only one of it's on-banner. The rest of 4% is off-banner Neo Vision rate, which is a little annoying. But Suffereth himself, pretty much dark version of Tifa and double-hander. So pretty much everything that Tifa can do, switch all the elements to dark. Instead of being dual wielder, he's a double hander. He does have 100% chain cap in his kit already. And his shifted limit burst is only a single hit instead of the 12 hits. So he's a little bit easier to use than Tifa. And he's a little bit stronger because of the double hand. But he's not that much stronger. So if you went hard for Tifa and can't pull for him, it's perfectly fine. They're both really strong units. For his super, it's just clothing, high attack on it with the 80, nullify stops, always nice, and then Sephiroth himself gets 500 just raw attack, which is very nice. His regular trust, 50% LB damage, and if you're using a katana, you get 60% attack, equipment attack on top of that. 60% is a little bit of an odd number just for a random materia, but whatever. Even though you can use that with a shield. He really wants the two-handed weapon for variants, though. Barret, Neo Vision Awaken, his shift form becomes physical cover tank. Overall, I mean, he's decent. You can use him for most things. His base form gets a little bit of boost to being able to do damage. And if you build him for evasion and can evade the hits, he's usable as both cover tank and damage. With a couple of his new moves, he can stack his one chain move for one turn, because unfortunately it unlocks a little bit itself to boost for a single turn. But you can get it into a 80 multiplier on its final hit, so it kind of caps itself. Decent damage, he's usable. Nothing I would chase for overall. Biggs and Wedge are fairly interesting though. They're a magic cover, they're dual-wield spirit users, they can only equip guns and daggers, which is a little bit limiting. So they really want their own super, which is a gun with 180 spirit and 75% dual-wield spirit. They do have 100% dual-wield spirit in their kit. So with their super, they still need 25% to cap out. And then their regular TM's nice too. 50% spirit with 500 raw health is good. One of the big things for them though is their magic cover tank they have in trust, which is very useful. And then they also have their normal attack is changed into a tag team attack. So it's an AE tag team attack. They are dual wield units, so that you could give them something that makes their normal attack hit twice while dual wielding, so they could pretty much 4 times cast a tag attack and be your sole chainer source as well as your magic cover, and just load up your party with finishes for some extra fun. So overall, they're worth getting. I don't know if I'd chase them hard really, but I mean, anybody that's chasing after Sephiroth is probably going to get a couple of them. Anybody that's pulling on Sephiroth, good luck to you. I'll be using all my tickets for him. We got about 180-ish or so. So hopefully I can pull 2 at least and get his shift unlocked. We'll see how things go there. But that's pretty much all we got for the upcoming week. A lot of the stuff is just going to keep rolling. It looks like they're just dragging some stuff out to do the 3 weeks of Final Fantasy VII here. So the only things that we're worried about ending, Item World and Dark Visions. Everything else is going to continue into the next week. The only new thing that we're going to see is the new Chronicle battle, really. But that's pretty much it. So, this is something new that I'm doing. We'll see how this video does. We'll see if people want it expanded and everything. You can let me know in the comments. But we're going to end here and hope everybody enjoyed.